What's going on today? Hopefully, you're having a great Saturday. It's beautific outside. It's lovely. It's not too hot. It's not too cool. It's kind of breezy. Today, we're going to talk about how banking is vastly different for the rich and wealthy. There was a question the other day during the stream that was talking about the $250,000 limit for an account being insured by the FDIC, I believe. Now, when you win the lottery and they give you all those millions, where do you put that money? In the bank. They have the ability to create multiple accounts. It's an automated system where all your money's insured. That's not a problem. But most people don't know this, and let's have a little chit chat. Before I get too deep in this, I need to edit this video and make sure there are no videos on here. Hold on a second. I need to uncheck that box. That's what I need to do. All right. So there will be no videos on this video, which means this is a super chat supported endeavor. So 25, 30, 40, 50 bucks. Throw those super chats up there. All right. Let's get back to it. Most financial products, the 401k, the IRA, the Roth IRA, are designed for poor people, moderately poor people, and people who have moderate means. Because I think the self-employment pension, the max is $55,000 a year. So if you made $2 million profit, you can only put $55,000 in that SEP IRA, and it would be sheltered from taxes. While your other 1.9545, $1,945,000 are fully exposed. Once you get past a certain point, 150 is a couple making 200K, you're still good. 401k, IRA, Roth, that still works. But once you get to 280, 300, 400, 500, 600, that stuff stops working. The benefit is not that great. It's just not. But we're going to talk about Warren Buffett. We're going to talk about what he's doing and how he is sitting on a lot of cash. A lot of cash. All right, let's go in here. Once again, this is a super chat and supported endeavor. Be sure to super chat throughout the stream, and also be sure to get the likes up, because there's 68 people watching and there's 13 likes. We need more. We need more. All right, so this is what's going on. Below, I still have the 50% off coupon for any course at Hustlers Kung Fu. But you do not get disruptive mail unless you spend $750 or more. Also, this is something new that's about to happen. Everyone who bought the Hustlers LLC in its current version, I'm going to start doing some weekly sales training classes. So if you've already bought it and paid for it, you'll be getting this. And these sales and training classes will be part of the Hustler LLC, so you don't have to get a new login. You don't have to go anywhere else. It'll be there. And I'm probably going to do some of them live, but not here. And just, so we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But that's all below. Everything you want, just go ahead and grab that. Okay. Now, let's get into what Warren is doing. All right, this is small because, let me see if I can increase the size a little bit. That's a little bit. Let's see how much more can we go. All right, this is the company that Warren owns, or in investors, Berkshire Hathaway. They own Geico, Dairy Queen, BNSF or Railway, Fruit of the Loom, Heidelberg Diamonds, Pampered Chef, Net Jets, the Flying J, the Kraft Heinz Company. They own 9.4% of Bank of America and nearly 5% of Apple. It's billions. Those are billions. But you can go ahead, just go to Berkshire Hathaway page, and you can just see all the companies that they own. I mean, he's done a lot. He has done a lot. Now, it's rumored that they're sitting on about $160 billion cash. $160 billion, right? Now, where is that money? So I'm going to walk you through some procedures on how these accounts work, and they're very atypical than the accounts that you or I can get. First of all, this money is not in a normal bank. Because the thing is, I couldn't find out exactly where the money is, right? But I do know how this is set up because my former business partner was an accountant. So these are going to be in some special banks that are not open to the public, or they're not open to people who have, let's say the bank has a threshold where you must have a net worth of $1 billion to have an account there. This cuts down on the riffraff. This cuts down on the junk. This cuts down on the garbage, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing, these accounts are ultra protected because let's say Warren wants to buy X, Y, and Z railroad, and he cuts them a check for $110 billion. What's going to happen is that check is going to be tagged. And what I mean by tagged is they're going to let their bank know that this check, whatever the number it was, whoever it was written out to, they're going to let the bank know this. So when that people come in, they deposit that check, then the bank's going to go in there and they're going to look at it and it's like, okay, this is good, this is good. They're going to verify the check and then they'll cash it. So if you knew of Warren's secret bank account, had the numbers and everything, and you presented a check, the bank wouldn't cash it because they're not expecting it. So that's one of the ways that they prevent fraud because, everybody's trying to steal Warren's money. Everybody's trying to go in there, trying to siphon off this electronically. So there's so many layers of protection. And these banks, they don't have a lot of customers. Like a Bank of America, Wells Fargo, PNC, they'll have millions of customers. These banks only have a few hundred customers, maybe a few thousand. That's it. So it's very easy for them to keep track of their customers. Now, here's something else. And we were talking to, and I forget his name, but he was real gracious to share his net worth and some of his journey. Annuities. All right. When you get to, I got exposed to this at the $1 million liquid cash mark. And it's like not $1 million in life insurance, not $1 million in house, and no, $1 million straight up cash that I could go to the bank and say, like, oh, let me tell you something else too. And a lot of these rappers know this. Do you know when you want to go out and draw out an extreme sum of cash of your own money out of the account, the bank set up like you got to go in there and say, look, I'm going to write a check for $250,000, right? Well, the bank's like, well, we don't really keep that much cash in here, but thanks for letting us know. And sometime next week, you can come by and get your cash. This is because a lot of branches, they don't really keep a lot of cash in there. They have the ability to forecast how much cash they're going to need, and they may have a few thousand or $2,000 over that, and that's it. There aren't millions of dollars in the bank branch. There, in some cases, there's not even hundreds of thousands. It's just enough to cover whatever they're going to need. Like Fridays, they will obviously increase the amount. But typically, if you go in there to a branch with a check for $400,000 or $500,000, more than likely, they're not going to be able to cash it, even though you got the money in the bank. And part of that is these are these risk protocols. These are the security protocols because banks are not trying to lose cash. So $160 billion is probably divided amongst a few different accounts, maybe not in the same location, but guaranteed that there's not a penny that goes into that account or it comes out of that account and a bunch of people don't know about it. So it's going to be very, very hard to steal Warren's money. Now, you, on the other hand, if someone gets your checking account number and creates some fake checks to go to the bank, oh, they go cash them all day long. They go cash them all day long, man. It's sad. You don't get the protection that Warren does. Let's see what's going on here real quick. Joshua, people want to be like Buffett, but he has the leverage to play a totally different game. 1% interest on $1 billion is $10 million. I guarantee he's getting more than 1% too. What's up, Christian? Thank you, moderators. Thank you, 89 Dr. Funt, for the super chat. Chat it up, chat it up, chat it up. You know, $25, $30, $40, $50. Go ahead and hit that. Thank you, Donna Tom. Cicerelli, just got in. Also, how does the giving pledge work? Because I highly doubt that many of these billionaires are just aren't giving their children any money when they're going to die. I talked about this before. They tell the public that so your savages won't attack their children. These kids are already well set up. They got a trust fund. I want you to think about something. They grew up rich. And more than likely, you know, I would say Bill and Warren, they're not giving them billions. But I guarantee you they're giving them millions. It could be in the form of a paid off house. It could be in the form of annual gifts every year. It could be in the form of a trust fund. Trust me, those kids are taken care of. Arden Bolden, that is true. As a former bank teller, I know that firsthand. Say that again, Arden. What part was I talking about? Wayne Johnson, what's up? 89 Dr. Vaughn. I saw a video online of Floyd Mayweather at the bank branch on the cart full of money with his trusted friends, loading it into a van. Crazy. Well, let's talk about Mayweather. Mayweather is known to be a high net worth individual. And I guarantee you his bankers have tried to talk him out of doing this stuff, but it's his money and he's going to do it. And if they don't cash his check or let him do that, then he'll take his business elsewhere. Rob, I've been writing my plan goals all day and I'm still not done. You're not supposed to be done. To do these exercises correctly will probably take you a week. All right. Good stuff. Dunnebree, true, banks are fast to take your money, but God forbid you need 50 cash today. They have all types of excuses. They just don't keep that kind of cash in the bank. Sassy Moxie, that's right. Robbie Rob, more importantly, I had to write how I will achieve these things, but the fact that I've been writing for 6 hours in goals and plans is nuts. Now, let's give Robbie Rob a round of applause. I would play a round of applause, but they would, you know what? I can't, well, maybe I could. Hold on a second. Because we're doing some stuff a little differently here. I think I can get away with this. Hold on. I think I can. Because this video is not monetized. So it won't be flagged. What? This means we got all kinds of freedoms here. Hold on. For Robbie Rob, for spending 6 hours on a Saturday, writing down his goals, writing down plans, putting together, I don't know if this is going to work. Because, let's see. It's working. This is for you, Robbie.
Excuse me.
Because to actually take the time to sit there and write your goals out is going to give you so much power and clarity and focus. So well done, Robbie Rob. Well done. Waka. Round of applause for Robbie Rob and anyone else out there who is writing their goals down and formulating that plan. Like yesterday, that video was extremely powerful for the folks who will take action. It will be a life-changing video. I'm just saying. All right, so we're going to get out of there. Drop it to the floor, make that ass clap, round of applause. All right. Let's see. Is this why the wealthy use credit? Joshua Hill, we're going to talk about that in a minute. That's a whole different ballgame. Arden Bolton, about the verification process of banks not having enough cash on site. I dealt with many customers with big money. From a former bank teller. What's up, Malachi? Dave Thomas. Yes, Warren Buffett's a beast. He's a beast. But the thing is, he's got a problem right now. He's got a lot of cash because he's waiting until stuff melts down. And you got all these forces that are keeping things up, and they're keeping things percolating without letting it crash. But the crash, sooner or later, it's going to crash. It has to. This is the reason people went to Bitcoin. Oh my God. You know what? I have not looked at the price of Bitcoin. What is the price of Bitcoin right now? Let's find out. I want to know because I have not been on my tangent lately. Let's see. Oh, I need to save that because that's good. All right, so let's go with the price of Bitcoin. What is the price of Bitcoin? And it's $8,022. It looks like it's been crashing and going back up, so we will see. That's it. Let's talk about Bitcoin. If you have no money, because you still, how do you buy Bitcoin? With fiat currency. I want you to think about that. You buy Bitcoin with fiat currency. That's how you get your Bitcoin. And then you convert Bitcoin to these other things like Litecoin, whatever they are. I don't even know. I'm not even worrying myself about them. But you just think about that. You have to buy your Bitcoin with fiat currency. And the more fiat currency you have, the more Bitcoin you can get. That's a very interesting point. Yes, Robbie, that's what's going to happen. Dunny Breeze, I heard it costs about $2 million to start your own bank. Currently, I know someone who did this, and it took $15 million, and it was about 10 partners, and they put in 1 point, whatever adds up to $15 million a piece. And it was 10 partners to charter this bank. So I think that has changed. You need a lot of money to start a bank. A lot of money. I think you can do that with a credit union. Now, credit unions are a different beast because let's say you live in somewhere like Oklahoma, Nebraska. If you want to start a credit union and you find like 30, 40 people, you can start a credit union. Pretty easy. My account Stafford, I wish I had a farter like you because so many men are lost. Well, we're going to shine the light on the truth, man. Appreciate you. Aaron Boyd. And if the transaction is too large, deposit, withdraw, or cash exchange, a CTR must be done with the customer there. And it's only $10,000 that's going to prompt this stuff. Only 10 G's. And you think that because, once again, we talked about this and how to put cash in there and roll the dice and stuff because these banks have powerful algorithms that will source out a predictable pattern. So you think that you're not being predictable and it's going to source you out and it's going like, doop, doop. This looks suspicious. And next thing you know, you may have to be talking to some folks. Let's see. Skeldon Key, is it a wise move to get an LLC than an EIN? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like what you're going to need. You're going to need that. And for those of you who don't know, EINs are free. And typically, for your first LLC, you can get one. But see, when you start branching off, then you got to fill out the form, mail it, well, fax it to the Internal Revenue Service, and then they will create you an EIN. It's the video, it's the last 3 or 4 videos. I want Warren problems, don't we all? Cool, Caddy Williams. Robbie Rob, yeah, my girl was pissed because I told her I'm busy getting things done. Like you said, G, many men lost money chasing chicks, but never the other way around. Pretty much. Pretty much. A, I'm going to call you A. Since rally, I always hear advantages of credit unions over banks, but I always thought that a credit union was best used for people who want to simply have a checking account. But for business, banks all the way? Depends upon the credit union. Once again, all banks are not created equal. All credit unions are not created equal. You've got some multi-billion-dollar credit unions out there who offer business checking, business loans. And since credit unions are, member-based, like that $5 or $10 you ever put in the credit, you're an owner of the credit union. So they're going to look out for you a lot better than the bank, which is out for profit. It's just, I would say the problem with credit unions, and the only problem, is they don't have the credit cards and the nice rewards. That's about it. Steve James, I work with ATMs. You have to call and order the money ahead of time if you need the cash for it to be there. Confirmation, not 1 but 2 people. Yep. Having my EIN on my business, no, Wayne Johnson. For those of you who want to be tax exempt, you need what's called a resale certificate. Here in Georgia, it's called something else in New York. But essentially, it's this certificate that allows you to go to a vendor and buy furniture or buy toys or whatever, and you don't have to pay taxes. And then you have to do a report every month of what you bought, what you sold, and how much tax you owe the state. It's called a resale certificate in Georgia. It's in most other states, but some of these new other states get, like New York and Los Angeles, they get a little weird about it. Yeah, because the thing is, let's kind of talk about that. There's an LLC, which is separate. There's an EIN, which is separate. There's your business license, which is separate. Your resale certificate, which is also separate. So these are all separate things that many people think that if I go out and get an EIN or I get out an LLC that I'm covered, and you're not. A resale certificate is generated from the Department of Revenue from your state. So if you live in New York, you got to go to New York to get this done. You live in California, you got to go to California. You live in North Carolina for you country folks, you got to go do it in North Carolina. And typically, most of the southern states are real simple, and they call it a resale certificate, which is really easy. But you get to these bigger places, they just get fancy with the verbiage. What about Texas? A in South Carolina business license costs you $50. $50. Now, let me tell you the story what happened when I was in DeKalb County and I went for my business license. Good Lord, 2002? And I called them up and they said it was going to be $139. So I went down there with $139 cash money in my pocket. I was ready to get my business license. So I go to the window. The girl asked me a few questions and I made a few mistakes. I should have said, we ain't doing nothing, and we should just paint it after the fact. She's like, are you going to do any improvements or renovations to the spot? No, just paint. Then she went, she marked a piece of paper. So I'm thinking I'm going to get my business license that day. Nope. Then I get in this another line, and then they send me back to the structural engineer, who's like, okay, for this space, we need a print. You got a print? No, I don't have a print. All right, well, you got to leave and go get a print. So I made one because I got some drafting skills. Went back, he approved it. And then I had to pay $290 in 2002 for my business license. So if you're paying $50 in South Carolina right now, you blessed. Because I am telling you, I don't know what it is now. Donnie Blaze, it's a shame how much interest banks give you on savings accounts. Like, okay, good point, Donnie Breeze. You know that rich people, folks with $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million to put up in the bank, they ain't getting no 2% interest. They getting some real interest. Because you know how many folks have $5 million just to let sit in the bank? Not that many. So banks get real competitive right there. So now one thing, your Wells Fargo's, your Bank of America's, like Chase just went ahead and has this private client business because they're all in these neighborhoods. And also something that's nice. If you didn't know, Chase private client branches, the ATMs spit out hundreds. God, I wish this was available when I was in the storage auction business. It makes things so much simpler. But any bank, depending upon your wealth profile, can customize and make products for you. They're not going to do it for you for $50,000. They ain't going to do it for you for $100. You're going to have to be a mid sevens, or 8 figures for this stuff opens up to you. Because why are they going to give you like 4% interest on the 100K? It don't make sense. But they can share, because see, this is how bank makes money. The money that you put in, they lend out, and they get to use the fractional reserve, which means so for every 100 that you put in, they can lend out 10 times as much. So they're going to give you 5% on your 5 million because they can lend off that 5 million 25 or 50 million. So there's so much money on the table. Yeah, we can give you 5%. Ain't no biggie. But 100K, they can't loan out enough money to make that money back, so they ain't going to give it to you. See, this is what we're talking about, because there's this perceptions of, well, this is what rich people do. Okay, I am a rich person, and I live in a very wealthy neighborhood, and I see what these folks around here do, and I listen to what people think they do, and I laugh my ass off because it ain't like that. It ain't like that at all. People like, The Millionaire Next Door, which is a good book, but the millionaires over here, they don't drive Fords. They drive Audis, they drive BMWs, they drive Mercedes, they drive Range Rovers all day long. Maybe you get 30, 40 miles outside of Atlanta, maybe that'll kick in. But these millionaires around here are stunned and flexing. What is a 510? What's the 510? You know what? I'm going to look this up. I have no idea what y'all talking about when y'all hit me with these. What this is. Exemption requirements. Okay. That's federal. A resale certificate is done at the state level. The federal level, that's a whole different thing. That's for like fuel, corn, and some other stuff. And once again, it depends on what kind of business you're in. Now, I got a question. Why did you ask me that question? Are you selling corn? Are you doing fuel? I just want to know, because part of the thing is that really is a waste of your time is getting this knowledge on shit you ain't doing. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to beat you up or anything. I'm just like asking for greater clarification, understanding. With the coming recession, what's the best move? The 10 to 50 cash on hand. Keep it in the bank account and stack up some more. Because if you got 10 to 50K, you're pretty much ready. And I would not spend. I would work hard to get more money. There's never such thing as having too much money. Never. So I would get more. Dang. Jay Cleveland and Green. $35 in North Charleston, South Carolina. That's cheap. Yes, it will, Josh. Uh, all right. Everyone has their hand out in the state. Once 50, it calls a business license to use it for resale. Now you're independent county city. All right. I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain because it like they have you moving around like a rat in the maze. But you know what? Play that game, educate yourself so you can play a better game. Jamal, I'm a street hustler. How can I make a transition? Jamal, what is your hustle? I need more information. All right. Judy kind of looks like a troll. Let's see. I'm trying to get rid of her. Ah, there it is. There we go. Because Judy just has that troll look about her. Rubber up. That's very interesting. Had no idea that Weffy got special interest in. Oh no no! Wherever there's a Chase private client, this is around the country. They all the ATMs dispense 100s, hundreds, 20s, fives, tens, and ones. No, Malachi Stafford. That's called theft. What's up, regular web guy? Thank you for being the moderator. Uh, Cleveland Smith, Chase private client in the next town over. Town over for me was called the richest town in USA. Okay, I mean they're not going to put these branches in impoverished areas, but I mean if you're 15 minutes away and you got to go to the bank, I'm telling you, I really because the thing is if you have a Chase account, you can withdraw up to $3,000 cash every day. So I would have had like a business account, which means I probably could have got 10 G's out. Oh my God, that would have been good. That'd been so good. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know nothing about nonprofits. I don't know anything about that. I do not endorse apps like Acorn or Stockpile, and this is why. This is nothing against the app. This is poor person investing. If you want to make, because like me, a few years ago on this channel, I was talking about Roth RAs. I was talking about SEPs. Then I got to a point where that just didn't work. It just like last year, that just wouldn't have not worked for me. I would have paid so much in taxes if I was doing traditional type investment moves. Typically, when you get past the $1 million mark, you have to create a strategy. And this is why you cannot take all your income out of the business. This is why you have to give yourself a salary. Because if you just, you know, let's say you have an internet marketing business and you make 3 million and you take all that out the company. You know, Uncle Sam's gonna rape you. I mean, they just like gonna pull out the knife and skin you alive. The goal would be to take a small salary. Let's say you make 3 million. Give yourself 300. 10%. Put the rest of the money back in the account. Put the monies in certain accounts, and don't pay taxes on it. And grow it to the point where you're making 12 million. But yeah, you're still gonna pay taxes, but there's still a lot more money for you. Stefan Arson, would you say your corporate bank should be in the same state as your holding company? All right, let's talk about that. Very good question. Typically, wherever you incorporate, that's where you're going to have to do your banking. Because if let's say you incorporate here in Georgia, then you move to California with your corporation, they're going to make you register your corporation as a foreign entity to open up a bank account in California. Because that EIN number is trackable. Let's say someone sued you and you had a corporate account and they sued your company. Once they sue you, they can get your EIN and they can use that EIN to trace wherever you have money. Just a FYI. That's why you need to have more than one EIN. Just saying. Are you not scared of bank runs and banks collapsing? Josh Barr. No. Joshua Hill, is the infamous black card still worth it for the rich or merely bait for those who want to stunt? Joshua Hill, that's a good question because I've seen a few average people who had those cards. Unless you have extraordinary spin, they don't really make sense. Not even for some rich people. Some rich people just have regular credit cards with high limits, and that gets them fine. But I will say there are cards out there that, unless you got the money, you're not going to know about that card. There's always new products. The banking is putting their credit card portfolios, all kinds of stuff for the ultra wealthy. There are cards out there. You go on the website, you ain't going to find them. The cards out there that do magic tricks, you ain't going to find them. So, Anthony Johnson, I love being around affluent people. The vibes are so real. My gym is filled with nothing but wealthy professionals. Also pick their brains too. Yeah, because the thing is, people who have money are usually very busy, unless they're old and retired. And that's just a different energy because it has to be energy. You have to have energy. Jamar Moore, does the Hustler LLC have anything that refers to IRAs? No. Good question. I'm getting away from regular investing. I'm going to give you upscale, bigger strategies than that because IRA, the limit is $5,500 a year. Roth IRA, I think it's like $6,500 a year. A SEP is $55,000 a year. Now, I'm not going to do, and I think there's so much regular investing advice out there that I'm not going to contribute to the clutter in the internet. I'm going to go for like what I'm working on. It's going to be called 0 to a Million. And the first aspect of it, this is going to be a mindset course. This is going to be the mindset course, and it is part of the Hustle LLC because I was working on, let me see, can I pull it up? Let me see. I don't know if it's in the cloud. I can show, let me see if I can show you. View my documents. Let's see. Is it, let me see if this is available on this computer. Nope. It hasn't dropped out of the cloud yet. There's all kinds of stuff in here though. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. But it's going to be very, very different because I figured some stuff out. When I got laid off for that third time, my mindset shifted. And I don't really remember. There was no big magical, majestical moment. But at that point, I slid into another metaphysical dimension mentally. And whoa, did my life change. So we'll talk about that. Ask it, should money be stored in the bank external to the U.S. if you plan to retire internationally? That's a good question. Let's talk about this. If you go to another country, they're going to ask you, do you have a retirement fund? Do you have money? So typically, you're probably going to need to leave it in a U.S. bank because if you're using a credit card, it's pretty, or a debit card, you have access to it anywhere in the world. So I don't really know about the international thing. Exit in nature. Someone told me to get a trust is hard to track. Depends on how it's set up, depends on what you do. Understand, anything that is governed by the United States and you have an EIN on it, they can track it. Bishop, I'm literally sitting on an exclusive deal that net me $15K, but I can't be asked to. Why can't you close the deal? Wayne Johnson. All right, let me just say this again. Everything that you can find on the internet is designed for regular people mostly and a few exceptional people. Once, let me tell you the story of Dr. Isaac Willis. This was like in the 80s, okay? Ike was a full-bird colonel in the reserves. So when we were in Desert Storm, he got called up. Ike came to Fort McPherson in a red 930 Turbo. And he was real nice. He was a good brother. Even after we was over, I still went to his office. He still talked to me. He was very gregarious and open. And he told me some stuff. And this was with Wachovia. When he opened up his practice and stuff, they gave his man a $2 million credit card. This was in the 80s. This was a brother, Dr. Isaac Willis. He was a dermatologist. He was noted in his field. $1 million house off West Paces Ferry back then. He's gone now. When you get to the point where you have money, and this is one of the things that's so frustrating for these athletes, because no one's really telling them the powerful position that they occupy. And I'm just like, I hope someone's telling them now, because like these guys who win the first round draft picks, where I think the lowest deal is like $10 million. If they took $1 million and parked it in an annuity, or put it somewhere in a safe haven asset, or bought a commercial building that paid rent, that would set them up for life. But I don't think people talking to them like that. Don't have anything yet, but they will be coming back. They will be coming back. But the whole thing is, you got to get the money. You got to work on getting the money, because, it's fun knowing these things. But it's more fun when they're being offered to you and you can use these things. That's the real fun. That is amazing. That's awesome. That's the ability to enjoy life on a different level. Since reality, I think there's a lot of stuff going on in any bank. Once again, when you get to the point where you're offered certain things because of your income level, things get very different, because the trickery that went on in Wells Fargo, that went on for regular accounts. That didn't go on for their high value accounts. Because this is the thing. When you got somebody who's got $5 million in this bank, $2 million in this bank, and something funky happens to their money, guess what they're going to do? They're going to sue, because they have the means to sue. They're going to sue. They ain't going to just sit there and take it. They go like, oh, really? Well, my lawyer will be talking to you tomorrow, buddy. So that's one of the things. Okay, so this is just to wrap it up. I was going to talk about, I believe, credit. Yes, why rich people. The American Express charge card is really for rich people. Any of them. Because when you can spend 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a month and pay it off at the end of the month, every month, that's not atypical. The average person can't do this. I see in these internet forums for people who get these points and who get, 30, 40 credit cards so they can use it for these bonus and maximum point. I hear a lot of them. There's one card, I think you have to have a $5,000 spend, and they'd be like sweating it, because it's like, well, I could spend $1,600 this month. I could spend 17. They got great credit, but they don't have high incomes. I got a card where I had like a $5,000 spend, right? You know what? How long it took me to accomplish that shit? A week. And paid it off. So once again, focus on making the money. Focus on making the money, because the money will change your life, change your lifestyle, change where you live, and change how your children live. Focus on making that money. All right, so this is what's going to happen in a few minutes. Let's see. Here we go. There we go. How to Date and Seduce Women. The 72-hour rule explained in detail. It's all about high or low interest. So that's going on. I'm going to go ahead and throw this link off into the chat because I'm going to give you how this works. And a lot of you are going to be like, oh God, I made a mistake there. Dang. So that's why she didn't call me back. So we'll go with that. All right. Any more questions? Oops, don't want that one. Oh, let's go ahead and put this in the chat because I'll be over there in about 6-7 minutes. Josh Hill, how does one even deposit over? If you got a business, it could be easy. It could be real easy. Bishop Global 86. Say it again. Say it again. Focus on making that money. That's what I'm talking about, Steve. Get rid of that stuff. Also, you free yourself. You feel better because you have less clutter. My first business was commercial office furniture. And that was a long, long time ago. All right. So that should have this. All right. So once again, you can go below. You can still use the 50% off this coupon, but you got to spend $750 to get the lifetime access to Disruptive Mail. Now I'm going to tell you some stuff. Disruptive Mail is going to be very different from any of the other courses that I've put out. It's going to be very, very different. It's going to be more informative. It's going to be at a better pace, and it's going to be better organized. So that's going to be the deal. All right. Be sure to super chat this. If you catch the replay, below the video is a link that you can still super chat and donate money and support the cause. Seeing there's opportunity everywhere. I just got a free pair of brand new boots from Goodwill and sold them almost on eBay. To those who hustle, good things happen. And one thing I would say before parting, your hustle must be consistent, because there will be days where there'll be droughts it just won't go the way you want it to. But if you consistently hustle 5 days a week and you look at your results over 3 months, you will see that wow, and you'll see the dips on the days that you didn't consistently hustle. Wayne Johnson, 99.99% of our problems are centered around money. Ain't that the truth? All right. Subscribe, share this stream or video with someone that needs it, and I will see you guys over at Disruptive Mail in about 5 minutes, because that one's going to be really quick. I'll be out as soon as I can find the out button. See you next door.